We are now joined by Coach Mike Gundy from Oklahoma State. Coach, your thoughts about the upcoming season?
Well, obviously, we're all very excited to get back and get started. I'm getting great reports from our strength coaches on our team over the summer. Very proud of our guys for their accomplishments in a variety of areas from last season. I thought they were fantastic, and looking forward to the season. We're extremely excited, and I feel like that we have the best staff from top to bottom in all the different areas. There's about 78 people that are in our building that work with our players on a daily basis, and I feel like this is the best group that I've had in my 17 years as the head coach. So it makes my job much easier. I'm very excited about it. Looking forward to getting started in a couple weeks.
Okay, we'll take questions for Coach. If you got a question, put your hand up, please. And if you will, please remember to stand up and give your name, and we'll take a question in the middle, right. Hold on a second.
I am a terrible lip reader from distance.
Let's try it again.
Chris Becker with the O'Colly. Coach, Spencer Sanders coming into another year starting. How have you seen him grow, and in what particular areas do you hope to see him continue to improve on as the season draws closer?
We've been very impressed and excited about Spencer's development. My personal opinion is last year, the spring ball that he missed and summer conditioning because of COVID set him back. And I feel like that the 2 months that we watched him over spring ball, he's developed more than he has in 2 years. So we'll find out once the season starts. There's never been a question with his toughness, his commitment, and his competitive nature. I think that Tim Rattay has done a fantastic job of developing him, and he looked very comfortable as we wrapped up spring in the month of April.
Question on the aisle, halfway back on the left.
Hi, Ariana Vidia, Dallas Morning News. What's the dynamic in your receiver room like right now after losing guys like Wallace? And who do you see stepping up?
I couldn't hear.
Yeah, could you repeat the question?
You have to speak a little louder.
What's the dynamic in your receiver room like right now, and who do you see stepping up after losing guys like Wallace?
Gotcha. So we have Brennan Presley, who came on and played a considerable amount as the season went on last year, was very young and developed and started making some plays. We have a number of guys that we feel like should develop as the season goes on. We don't necessarily have what would be a marquee player that we have traditionally had at that position at Oklahoma State. It will be very interesting to watch how Tay Martin develops. We feel good about his development after getting into our program, and he's in really good physical condition now. He played last year, started to develop some in the latter part of the season when he finally got in good shape. So we're hoping that those guys will carry us a little bit at that position.
We've got a question on the right side, halfway back.
Hey, Mike, Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Hey, you were in an interesting position with a full leadership change with athletics and the university on July 1st. I'm sure there are challenges in that, having a new AD, a new school president, but do you see that as opportunity? How has that sort of gone? I know we're only 2 weeks in, but what does that look like at this point from your perspective?
Well, there's a lot of things that are very exciting for us. I've had some conversations with Dr. Schrum. I'm looking forward to having many more. You guys know me. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. I think that she's very innovative. I think that she is a good listener. I think she's tough. And I think that she's going to be fantastic for Oklahoma State. Only time will tell, but the time that I've spent with her, I think that she and I have the ability to see eye to eye, and will work very well in the future. Obviously, Chad Weiberg's been in our department for a number of years, but he's not been the guy in charge. It's just the way it is. He now is in charge. I'm very excited about that. And I think that we have 3 people that are very interested in coming together as a group and finding ways to continue Oklahoma State football in the past that it's been on and make it even better than it has been in the future. Now, obviously, Dr. Schrum and Chad have other things that are going on, but if you're talking about the 3 of us as a group, with me included, that's the area that I'm looking forward to working with them and making it better than it's ever been before.
We got a question, 3rd row, middle. Stand up if you want to ask your question.
Cole Thompson, LonghornsCountry.com. Coach, just want to get your thoughts on having Colby back for this year in the secondary. What was the process of him possibly going pro? And then to have a veteran secondary this year, how big of an impact is that for you guys?
Well, we're very excited about Colby. I think at one point that, like most young men, he felt like that he wanted to try to move on and make some money playing this game. And then at some point he called and said that he would like to return and develop himself for another year. So he's had a great spring, and I'm hearing great things about him as a leader this summer. And in the Big 12 Conference, having experience in the secondary, particularly at the safety positions and or outside backers, are very important in my opinion because of the fantastic quarterback play and skill that we have in this league. The experience allows those guys to not get their eyes violated a lot in run pass situations, and certainly helps our defense make more plays.
We have a question on the aisle.
Hey, Coach, Chris Budding with ESPN, and what is probably going to be the most obscure question you'll get. Your hair choices have always been a hot topic. What went into the decision to cut the mullet?
If that's the worst question I get today, that's not bad at all. Honestly, when I went into Kathy's, she's cut my hair for 20 years now, and I love her company, but I said, I've got a lot of things going on, so let's try and cut my hair to where I don't have to cut it till the season's over. And she finally agreed to do it. And so we did it. I didn't really think it would be a big deal anymore, but I do get a lot of questions about it. But we've had a lot of fun with it, and I'm hoping that it'll still grow really fast and get back by the end of the season.
You could have given your hair to me, Coach.
Yeah, I could have given it to you.
Okay, all the way back on the right-hand side.
Chris Vanini with The Athletic. Mike, playoff expansion is a topic. Could happen in a few years. You guys have been on in the mix a few years. What do you think about 12-team playoff?
I'll be really honest with you. I know very little about the detail. I've seen just like little things here and there. It's somewhat unfair for me to comment on it. And it's one of those topics that's going to take place by somebody at some particular point, and then we play by those rules. When we decide to be a member, then whatever policies or procedures they have in place, we say we're in, and so that's what we'll do, whatever direction they go with the playoff.
Question over on the far left side.
Hey, Coach. Sam Mays, franchise Oklahoma City. Last year, your offensive line was riddled with injuries. Talk about the experience that those young kids had a year ago and how it maybe has impacted them and benefited them coming to this season.
Well, I'll be real honest with you. It was worse than what you had said. At some point, I actually thought about calling you to see if you could come back and line up and help us some. But by you playing the position, it's really somewhat unfair that a couple of those guys were even out there. They didn't have any experience, their bodies weren't developed, they weren't strong enough. And all of the butt whippings that they took should help them this year. We've had a couple of adjustments. We're already better, Sam, just by depth chart. We're already better. We haven't even played a game yet. we've got some depth, and hopefully we can stay healthy. And if we do, we don't have to play musical chairs, where a guy plays left tackle one play and right guard 2 plays later. So, not making any excuses for them, but I think it's important that we all are fair to them based on their situation. And, it's almost like going on the playground in junior high and getting beat up 4 or 5 times. You learn to fight back, or you just keep getting beat up. And these guys got beat up a lot, and I saw them start to fight back in the spring.
We got a question on the front, and then we'll go over to the side. Go, Dean. Up.
Dean Blevins, News 9 Sports. Mike, Shane Illingworth did some really good things for you last year. Haven't heard a lot about him. How do you see him developing, and are there different things in the playbook that he would be able to do that you would utilize?
Shane is doing excellent. Shane is a really good football player with a really bright future. And you've covered us for a long time now, Dean. Our ability to change our style of play based on our quarterbacks is pretty common. And so we have areas that if Shane were in the game, that plays that would be called, that Spencer can execute. Maybe that's not his strong point. And we have some that Shane may execute that maybe not be as beneficial to him as they are to Spencer. So he's been fantastic. Great young man with a great work ethic, and we're extremely happy that he's in our program.
Got a question on the left-hand side.
Hey, Mike, Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. I know football is a very regimented sport, but these kids have deals they're making off the field. How's that changed the game for you coaches and how you like to do business?
The good news for us is we're not really involved in it. We've hired a fantastic group to help our athletes in all sports at Oklahoma State. And I'm learning more about it every day. Again, I'm gonna say that I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently. I just know that it's a lot, and that this group is working with our players to allow them to benefit for who they are and the direction this moves. I think we'll all know a lot more about it a year from now. I'm not sure anybody really knows a lot about it based on what I've heard up to this point.
Question on the left, halfway back.
Dylan Rivera, Gaylord College at OU. Coach, you got a lot of good production from L.D. Brown and Desmond Jackson last year. Who do you see being the #1 back, and what do you foresee for that running back room this year?
It's interesting. For the first time in a while, we really feel like that we have 4 or 5 players that we could hand the ball to, and we're very comfortable with them in the game. LD was fantastic. Des would come in and make plays. Then we would put a freshman in, and he made plays for us. So now we have 4 or 5 guys that will get quality reps in August. And I'm excited because that position takes a lot of abuse physically. That's the one position where you can get really beat up. And we can take some of that off those guys. Hopefully we're not handing it to one guy 18 or 20 times a game. Hopefully we're letting 4 guys carry it 10 or 12 times a game. It should be beneficial for them, their future, and our football team.
Question on the right-hand side, 5 or 6 rows back.
Yeah, I'm Mike Garen, Namick, Tulsa World. All the change that you're being asked about this morning, whether it's the administration or NIL, is that something that a coach learns to roll with the longer he's a coach? And in other words, are you better at rolling with the changes in your surroundings now than you were first 5 years on the job? And what's been the secret to that?
Well, there's no question that patience has played a much more role in my daily operation than it has forever. I can only speak for myself in that the longer you do something, you get better at it. You start to pick the battles that you want to fight, and the ones that you don't think are worth it, you let it roll. So you're talking about two different categories: the image and likeness and the playoff and all that talk. I don't know enough about it to comment on it because I'm not really going to have a say-so or a factor in it anyway. So that falls in the category of whatever they say that we're going to do, I'm good. I'm going to support it and go on down the road. With our new administration, with our president, our athletic director, I'm directly involved in that, and that's a big deal. And that's why I'm excited about getting and having conversations and sitting down and coming to agreements on future and what can we do to continue to elevate Oklahoma State football and take it to a level it's never been before. And a new president, a new AD, and the head football coach, there's a good chance they're the three most marketable people in any college campus at a Power 5 school. And the decisions they make certainly affect the university in a lot of ways. So I'm excited about the direction we're going and looking forward to sitting down and working together and finding ways to make Oklahoma State University better than it's ever been before.
Question on the outside left, and then we'll come up. Going to the back. Go ahead.
Chisholm Holland, 107.7 The Franchise in Oklahoma City. A lot of questions about the offense, but your defense last year was really great under Jim Knowles, and expectations it'll be good again this year. How does having a defense that you can rely on like last season affect your decisions on the sideline, or does it at all?
Well, it does. I've been very impressed with our defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, and his staff, and his willingness to adjust to our league. I feel more comfortable with our defense going on the field than I have maybe in my first 12 to 14 years as a head coach. We played good third down defense. I think Jim's very innovative in his blitz packages. I think that we've simplified. We've gone with simplicity and repetition compared to trying to outcoach other people. I think that's important. And I'm hoping, from what I've seen in the spring, that we'll have the fastest defense that we've had since I've been a head coach, which, again, is important. You got to be able to run and get guys down. You got to tackle. We tackled very well last year. So all of that can tie into confidence. Confidence makes you a better player. I don't care what sport it is. And our defense is starting to develop a little confidence in themselves, and it makes us a better football team.
Question on the aisle.
Stephen Hawkins with the AP. Mike, a minute ago you were asked about changes as a coach. Last summer you went through some stuff where you had to make some changes. You went through some issues. What did that do, change you as a coach, and how different are you now than you were then after going through that?
Oh, I mean, I'm really the same person, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you ask. I think what I learned is to really listen to what's out there and have compassion for patience and sitting down and thinking things through. Not necessarily my personality. I move forward, I move fast, I have things I believe in, and that's the way it is. So I think some of the transition that we went through, honestly, as a country over the last year, in my situation, some patience, more of an ability to listen and make really quality decisions and not move so fast. The culture in our organization, our discipline, our toughness, our accountability, our structure, the demands that we have, that's all stayed the same. Because I'm a firm believer that young men that are between the ages of 18 and 23, they want discipline, they want structure. They want, respectfully, they want a plan. They want to be told what to do, and they want to move in that direction. I believe that. And that's the way we've operated for the last 17 years.
Okay, we have used up our time. Thank you very much, Coach. Appreciate it. Good luck on the season.
All right, thank you.